Another example, the Texas frozen embryo case, Roman versus, I guess it's Roman versus Roman. This couple, they had frozen embryos, and then they ended up getting divorced, and now now Augusta Roman, the woman, wants to have the kids anyway, have the embryos implanted anyway, and her ex-husband doesn't want her to. So she's gone on all of the TV shows, and she's gone there. Basically there's a division of labor. There's her and there's her attorney. And I debated her on Fox also, and I said to the producer before we went on, I said, okay, so I know what this is. Her job is going to be there to sit there and cry and make me look like a bully and a meanie, and the attorney is going to drive home the legal points. And the producer tells me, no, this is going to be a debate on the issue, and this fascinating legal issue, this complicated legal issue. So we get on there, and she's, the waterworks, she's there crying and vilifying her husband, and then the attorney is the one who gives the legal points. It's just exactly as I predicted. And she went on a bunch of TV shows, and she got largely a sympathetic audience. I mean, what on earth is this? I mean, they're divorced, and she's going to be able to force him to have this kid with her? My God, and you don't hear anything. All of our feminist commentators about choice and pro-choice, and you shouldn't be forced to have a kid against your will. Not a word from anybody. Okay, they're all sympathetic to this woman who wants to create a fatherless child and a child in this very bad environment. All right. Anyway, another aspect of anti-male media bias is the way husbands are portrayed. Obviously, there's a big overlap between husbands and fathers, but there's some differences. The way husbands are portrayed. Okay, what is a husband? A husband is lazy. A husband is immature. A husband is selfish. A husband is overconsumptive. And if there is a divorce, we know whose fault it is. You see this all the time. TV ads. There was a Klondike ad where they have a guy, and he's in front of the TV watching a game. Of course, that's where men always are on TV ads. He's in front of a game watching. He's in front of sitting down watching a game. And at one point he gets up and he takes his dirty glass and he goes into the kitchen and he opens the dishwasher and he puts the dirty glass in the dishwasher. And then he walks away. And his wife, her mouth is just open. She's just looking, oh my God, what an achievement! What got into him? He put his dirty glass. What? He put his dirty glass away. And then, of course, it's what a heroic guy. Give him a Klondike bar. Give him a Klondike bar. It's this amazing thing. Some of you may remember in January, the New York Times came out with a census finding that for the first time, the majority of American women are unmarried. And afterwards there was a blowback because it turns out that he had cooked the numbers and a whole bunch of other. He counted widows in there. So a woman who was married 35 years and then her husband kicked off is counted as an unmarried woman, as if she was rejecting marriage. They counted I think girls ages 15 to 19. There was a lot of problems with the numbers, but marriage is in decline. So the overall point is legitimate. But what was interesting to me about it was the way the media reacted to this. MSNBC says, watch out, man, more women opt to live alone. Another one says, who needs a man? Not most women. CBS says, more women saying, I don't. There was a popular syndicated newspaper cartoon depicting a happily divorced woman remembering her ex-husband bellowing, where's my dinner? Iron my shirts, lose weight. Whole bunch of cartoons with women pondering single life and how great it would be to have a single life as their fat, lazy husbands are sitting there watching the game and drinking beer. And there's one female blogger summed up the female blogosphere's reaction. Hooray for all single women, you go girls. And that's what the whole reaction was. It was, you go girl. Break up your marriages, you go girl. Break up your families, you go girl. Have kids out of wedlock, you go girl. Leave your kids without a father, you go girl. Amazing. It's just amazing. All the blame for this is on men. Some other examples. The cartoon, and I thought it was clever, even though it was very unfair. It's a cartoon about secondhand smoke in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. And there's a man and a woman. I can't remember whether it was a husband and a wife or a man and a woman, I don't remember. But the man is there smoking, and the smoke is going over towards her, and it's forming a noose around her neck to strangle her. And I've seen a bunch of these. Whenever the issue of secondhand smoke comes up, it's always selfish man puffing away, and the victims, sometimes the victims are men, usually the victims are women. So I decided to look up, well, gee, how many men, what is the ratio of male to female smokers? I discovered that it is a whopping 1.26 to 1. Big deal, 1.26 to 1. It's not that big of a difference. You could easily have, I guess with a ratio like that, you'd have what, 55% of the time the selfish smoker would be the man, 45% of the time it would be the woman. But that's not the way it's portrayed. It's almost always portrayed as a man. Man being selfish. Another example. Some of you may remember we did we did a campaign earlier this year against Arnold Worldwide and their anti-male commercials. Anti-male commercials they did for Fidelity, and we did a campaign trying to influence Volvo to not give a pending contract to Arnold Worldwide. And we lost. They gave it to them anyway. Volvo wrote us and they promised that their TV ads would not be anti-male and they would be family friendly. So I guess on that level we succeeded, but they gave them the contract anyway. But it's interesting because if you look at their whole Fidelity campaign, there were, I don't remember, but I think there were 7 different ads that featured that a man was the primary person, and 1 ad featured the woman as the primary person. And in the 7 ads, the man is, in 6 of them, he's a total idiot. One of them, he's beating his daughter at ping pong and rubbing it in her face. Another one, he's trying to figure out this little kid's toy, and when he does it, he makes a big deal about what a great guy he is because he figured out this toy that a 3-year-old could do. There's a whole bunch of these where he just looks like an idiot. But the one TV ad that featured the woman, the ad was called Carol, and it had a bunch of films of her life going from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s until today. And it talks about her saving money for her retirement. It says, "This is Carol. She's been called hippie, preppy, yuppie, protester, Democrat, Republican, mom, CFO, CEO, cancer patient, cancer survivor, fundraiser, spokesperson, caregiver, and soon-to-be world traveler." I guess they left out saint and savior kind of at the end here. But this is Carol. This is how they portray a woman. I'm looking at this and like, this is a good ad. It was, they have pictures of her from the 60s with the flowers in her hair or whatever. It was a good ad. But why couldn't you have an ad about a guy like that? This is Jim. And he's been all these different things, and he's been a father, and he's been a provider, and he's been a grandfather, and he's been a loving uncle, whatever it is. Why couldn't you have that?